Our next guest helped battle crime in one of the nation's most notoriously violent cities. We're talking about Detroit. Just take a look at the numbers. Last year, Detroit saw a 7% drop in violent crime, a 14% drop in criminal homicide, and an 8% drop in non-fatal shootings. That's great.
Sure, those stats have to make you wonder why he's getting backlash over his belief that responsibly armed citizens can help lower the crime rate. Joining us now, Detroit Police Chief James Craig. Good morning. Great to have you, Chief.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Morning, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank you. Good morning.
You're taking some heat for saying that if someone packs some heat legally, concealed, that might actually help those statistics in terms of lowering crime. What's the big deal?
Yes, I believe it. I mean, I've had a chance to work in now 4 different cities, and so, you know, when I left Detroit many years ago as a young police officer, it was very rare to hear of someone carrying a concealed weapon. And then moving on to California, where I spent the lion's share of my career, Los Angeles, no one had CCW. It was just a rare thing. But I move off to Maine, a state that has the model the way life should be. And believe me, the life is good in the state of Maine. Low crime and certainly a lot of good Americans that have CCWs.
Sure.
So I started thinking about it. You know, I was met with a stack of CCW requests, and certainly my orientation coming out of California was to deny them. And I was quickly had what I call an aha moment and realized that, you know, the city is safe. So why would I want to continue to deny? And, you know, and certainly now that I moved on to Detroit, certainly, unfortunately, it's been lauded as one of the most violent cities in America. And now returning to Detroit, the thing that I found very different, there are a lot of good Detroiters that have their CPLs. And they're confronted by armed, violent criminals. I can talk about a number of instances where good Americans have challenged violent predators. And I will tell you, the violent criminals here know that their biggest fear is being met with an armed citizen.
Sure, and you've been, Chief, you've been talking about the CCPs, the concealed carry permits. So how many people in Detroit would you like to see actually carry legally weapons?
Well, you know, I haven't put a number to it. And you know, the Department of Justice did a study a couple of years ago, I guess now, that suggested that a well-armed, good citizen can be the biggest deterrent to violent crime.
Sure.
You know, and I would agree with that statement. I would agree because, you know, when we arrest some of our armed robbers or individuals who have a propensity to carry weapons, violent predators, their biggest fear, and the research bears this out, is armed citizens. So some of them we arrest are wearing body armor. And another tactic that they're using is that once they confront a victim, in some instances, they will make the victim disrobe to determine whether or not they're armed.
That's crazy.
So they clearly are fearful of an armed citizen, more so than a police officer.
Interesting. Interesting. And maybe this theory, too, I mean, I know the drop has gone down to 7% in crime, and I know your goal is to get that number to look even better than that. And perhaps in your mind now, this could be a way to do just that.
Well, I'm talking about good, responsible Americans, good, responsible Detroiters, because, you know, I put the caveat of responsibility in there because we've heard the stories about, you know, people not being responsible, CPL holders that have accidental discharges, sometimes shooting an innocent victim. So I think responsibility plays a key role here.
Absolutely.
But
always.
I'm not going to suggest that that's the only tool in the toolbox. Certainly, you know, coming here from Los Angeles and Cincinnati where we saw reductions in crime, certainly were other strategies that we put in place.
Sure.
And certainly since I've been here, our team, we've launched a ComStat model. We're very assertive about identifying those individuals who are most likely involved in violence.
Absolutely, and obviously it's working for you there in Detroit because crime is dropping so much, and so it's been a real pleasure, Chief Craig James, that you would join us today, explain what you're doing out there in Motown. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
you.
We'll let you
we're
go.
excited
Reach those
about the
goals.
reduction.
Everybody
All right.
is.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Thank you, sir.
Well done.
I will.